This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're looking at the Nexus 7. This is Google's first Android tablet, 7-inch, one of the videos I know you guys have been waiting for, because it's only $199, and you get a really nice looking device. It's thin, it's pretty, has an IPS display, very sharp, really nice and colorful, and we're going to look at it now. So here it is, the Nexus 7. This is Google's first Android tablet, and what's so exciting about this? Well, first off, it's very affordable, $199 for the 8 gig, $249 for the 16 gig version. So you're looking at the same price as a Kindle Fire, but with the Kindle Fire you obviously have a very reading-oriented device designed for consuming Amazon products. Likewise with the Nook tablet. This guy here is just a general-purpose Android tablet, so it's great for those of you who are buying the Nook or the Fire and then rooting it and trying to do all sorts of stuff to turn it back into a general purpose tablet because, well, they're the most affordable things. Before this, there really weren't any high quality 7-inch Android tablets on the market in this price range, so that's what makes it exciting. It's also running Android OS Jelly Bean. That is 4.1.1, so that's what comes after Ice Cream Sandwich, and it features Project Butter, which is a whole lot of optimizations Google did to improve responsiveness and speed, and indeed it does feel fast. Well, it should feel fast though because it has an NVIDIA Tegra 3 quad-core CPU, 1.2 gigahertz in here. So yes, you can play Tegrazone games, you can play those Tegra 3 games. It's fast and it's powerful, especially for such a small tablet. It's not the first Tegra 3 tablet we've seen. We just reviewed the Toshiba Excite 7.7, which also has that CPU, but that guy costs $449, so, well, you're looking at a lot more money there. If we take a look around, beautiful IPS display, very colorful, very sharp and clear, high pixel density because you've got 1280 by 800 resolution, which we've seen on other higher end Android 7-inch tablets. So you've got clarity there that's over 200 ppi. It looks very slim and nice and attractive, especially for something that's budget priced. You know, usually you buy something that's inexpensive and it doesn't exactly look too beautiful or classy. This is very stylish. It has a tapered edge that makes it look quite thin, although surprisingly it's actually not thinner than a Kindle Fire. It just looks it. We have a rubbery texturized back here with the little stipples on it. It feels very nice in hand. Shows fingerprints just a little, not too much. Asus makes the tablet, you can see, so there's the Asus logo there, and a big old Nexus logo on the back. This is your wide speaker grill here. And overall, just a good looking piece of hardware. It's the kind of thing you think, wow, that looks nice. You must have paid $400 for it, but no. Why is it inexpensive? Well, we'll get to that, but one of the things that you'll notice as we look around at ports and controls, there aren't many. There's a hint. Here's your micro USB connection. That's for transferring stuff to your tablet. This does not support MHL, so that means no plugging this into an MHL adapter to output to an HDMI TV. Here's your headphone jack, 3.5mm stereo, and your only controls, nothing there. It's got some microphone holes and a dock connector here. Only controls are your volume and your power right there. Nice controls, by the way. They stick out just enough. They feel nice and robust. Feels like a good quality piece. Speaking of quality, there's been some complaint about quality control about displays that are not well attached, screwed down, but ours came from the Google Play Store and it was fine. This is the 8 gig model. No loose display. Everything is flush and everything works on this guy. And now here we have it next to this is the Kindle Fire here, both 7-inch tablets. The screen on this is 1024 by 600, so you're looking at a lower resolution display. That means text isn't quite as sharp, nor are images. Still, it is very nice for reading, and it has a warmer tone. We'll do a smackdown of these two guys so you can figure out the differences for yourself. But in terms of form factor, obviously they're going to be the same. And if you look at the thickness, like I was saying, Kindle Fire looks pretty thick because it has a very straight edge. Nothing tapers that make it look thinner than it is. But if you put them side by side, again, you might think this is thinner because all you're really noticing is the silver bezel, but if we lay them flat on the table, you'll see that they are about the same thickness. Kindle Fire weighs a couple of ounces more, about 2.5 ounces or so, and you can feel the difference, honestly, when holding it. And now we have it next to its big brother, made by Asus. This is the Asus Transformer Pad Infinity TF700. This is a 10.1-inch tablet with an HD display, 1920 by 1200 pixels. And you can see the size difference. I know some folks are wondering which of these they should get. And honestly, there's a huge difference. just look at the size difference. Do you want something that is small, fits in your pocket? And obviously if you're going to be browsing the web, reading forums, doing whatever you're doing, it's going to be a little hard to see as much stuff on the screen here. Not the same experience. This is more of your computer replacement kind of experience here. This is your portable little buddy. And you can just see the difference in size there. Of course, the Transformer Infinity is a very high-end tablet. It has all the bells and whistles, including HDMI, USB host, everything you could want. So there's another difference there. They're just different ends of the spectrum in terms of what you're going to get for your money. So for $199 or $249, it looks like if you want to pick it up in your local store when it's available, the 16 gig is going to be the one, not the 8 gig that's going to be available in stores. Of course, if you want to order directly from Google, you can get the 8 or 16 gig, but I would say you should get the $249 16 gig version because the 8 gig model only has about 5.33 gigs free. That's not much space. If you look at a game like Dead Trigger or Max Payne is 1.3 gigs. If you want to start downloading and installing games, you're going to run out of space pretty quickly. And that leads to what you don't get for your money. The good things are that Tegra 3 quad-core processor, very fast, really lovely IPS display, elegant quality design that you expect to see on a more expensive tablet, and the latest operating system, and the guarantee that you'll always get updates first from Google, since this is a Google official Nexus device. But what you don't get is a micro SD card slot. There's no USB host. Now here's the trick. If you want to root this guy, and I know that Nexus devices often appeal to the more technical folks out there who do like to do things like rooting, and it's not hard to root this. But if you root it and install a utility, you can use USB host and stick a dongle USB host adapter to the bottom there and use flash drives, hard drives, and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, storage expansion, very limited. So for you folks out there who are not into having flash drives dongling off the bottom, I suggest you go for the larger storage option. As I mentioned, there is no HDMI out, so pretty much you're going to consume your content right here on this screen. And there's no DLNA software. That's something that the manufacturers usually provide on customized devices, like Samsung TouchWiz devices. HTC has DLNA solutions. Asus has their DLNA solution on their Transformer Prime tablets. So here, pretty much your content stays on here. On the back, no camera, as you probably noticed. There's only a front video chat camera, 1.2 megapixels. Pretty decent camera for video chat, works for that. You're probably not going to be using it for a lot of photographs unless you like to take pictures of yourself, given the fact that it is front-facing. The tablet does have a GPS, which puts it out ahead of the Kindle Fire and the Nook for those of you who are looking for a more general-purpose tablet that's affordable, and it works well, even with Wi-Fi turned off, so good times there. And now you can download maps for offline use with Google Maps, so you can actually use this without a persistent internet connection when you're navigating if you download your maps first. It has single Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN, which works fine in our tests. It has Bluetooth, undisclosed version. Strange thing about Google specs for this, they're actually pretty vague for a device that generally targets developers and technical enthusiast type folks. It has NFC with Google Wallet on it, so yes, you can swipe this thing against the register at Starbucks to pick up your latte. It has a accelerometer, it has a gyroscope. It does not have haptic feedback though. For those of you who like to feel that little buzz when you're typing on the keyboard or something like that, not there. Now why are some of these things missing? Obviously it's the price. Asus said it was really hard to actually meet the price requirement and put together a really high quality tablet. So to ensure that the components they did include were good quality components and work well, they had to axe some things like the rear camera, like the haptic feedback, things like that. Also, we're sure that Google does not want to stomp on other manufacturers too much and really overcompete with their devices. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 2, 7, the Galaxy Tab 7.7, the Excite 7.7, tablets like that. There has to be some value added in those more expensive products. And honestly, it does take more expensive components to start to add in all those features again. But the core important things are here. I mean, two things I think that a lot of people really want: stunning display, good-looking, sturdy tablet. You got both of those here. And for those of you who are into reading ebooks, obviously this is your basic Android device where you can download Barnes & Noble Nook application, you can download Kindle, we have those on here, we'll show you. Google Play Books is here. If you want to use LDeco, anything, it's all open season here. And the other exciting thing is, well, it's the first Jelly Bean tablet out there, and given how long it took Ice Cream Sandwich to make it out to other devices, goodness knows this may be where you're going to see it first and for quite some time on tablets. It's hard to say. But as we mentioned, Google has Project Butter. That has just improved the speed of everything. And indeed, of course, this is a fast tablet with a great CPU in it, but it's zippy. There's none of that kind of lag going on, and very responsive. Absolutely no complaints there. Yeah, to be honest, it feels about the same speed as the Transformer Prime Infinity TF700, still running Ice Cream Sandwich, but that's because that's a 1.6 gigahertz device. I think that Asus is highly optimized. I can't wait to see what that one's going to be like with Jelly Bean on it too, but one of the fastest. Something else is new for Jelly Bean. You can see this new My Library widget we've got here, and because Google kind of wants to compete with Amazon and with their Kindle and Amazon Prime Videos and all that kind of stuff, they're trying to bring all the content together here for you. So you can see I've got some of my Google Play books, I've got some music that's in my library, I've got magazines, which we'll take a look at. It's a dead ringer for Zinio. I swear that must be Zinio that they're using. And you can also watch videos. Beyond that, pretty much you're looking at the standard selection of Android widgets here. I've got, this is actually something from Weatherbug, doesn't come with it, but you've got your radio control widget right here. We've got a little calendar widget going on. These are preloaded here. They're trying to sell you some stuff on Google Play and some apps. Of course, you can get rid of any of these you don't want. If you want to get your widgets, it's right there. And pretty much your standard stuff unless you add more applications on, which of course I've already done. No hardware buttons here, no capacitive buttons. We're sticking to the pure Android 4.x experience. We have software buttons here for back, for home, and this is your multitasking. You can see how responsive that is. And we have something new, cards. One thing about vanilla Android, it was about as personalized as a doorknob. It never felt really warm and fuzzy to me, and Google has done some good stuff. Between this content here that updates, and one thing I also like is you add something new, your newest stuff is right over here. So you feel like, well, it's ready for you. Whatever you just put on there, you probably want to look at. That's good. We've also got cards. Swipe up from the bottom, and we've got this. Now I get the weather report, I have a search. Any appointments I have will show up here. All the cards that are available, you can see public transit, traffic, weather, sports, flight information, your next appointment, translation, currency, time to get back home, and places that are nearby. So this is kind of neat and very personalized. You know, you turn on what's interesting near me, for example, and you start finding about maybe restaurants and venues you didn't know about. Really handy if you're traveling, and some of these things are particularly designed for travel, which makes sense. A 7-inch tablet is pretty portable. It's the kind of thing you probably would take with you on a trip, whereas a 10-inch might be a bit much. One of the drawbacks, perhaps, of using a vanilla Android device, you don't get all those little customizations that manufacturers do to put some things more quickly at your fingertips. For example, if you swipe down, often on Samsung devices or HTC devices, you'll get a whole little set of control panel things here for controlling your wireless radios, brightness, all that kind of thing. So you're going to have to actually go into settings. And here the only thing we have is a rotation lock setting, which is kind of funny, especially because the home screen is locked in portrait mode. And we've got this to get into all settings. And then these are your notifications, by the way. If you tap over there, you get rid of all at once. So here we go into settings. So say I want to adjust my brightness, I have to tap there, and then there. So you got to go through more steps. Of course, some of you are into third-party launchers that can also make some of these things more expedient. So let's take a look at the new magazine reader, courtesy of Google Play. And we've got Popular Science there. It's just going to take a little bit to load. Really high quality looking stuff. Now I still feel that this kind of presentation, which is an exact rendering of the print magazine, is a little bit better on a 10-inch device for readability. But just like Zinio, this has text mode if you want to just read the text, or you can look at it just like that. So beautiful looking to screen, very sharp. Even though this is teeny, it becomes readable, and you can pinch zoom right in there. Take a look at that, and then you see, just again, just like Zinio, we've got this little slider here if you want to skip to a different page. And then you see the, oops, sorry. And you see the view text option, and that will give you something that is easier to read. Strips away the full magazine layout. So really nice stuff, and magazines are available in the Google Play Store now. And we've got Google Play Books over here. Well, this device, they're giving away a couple of free books, so we got the Born book for free. And you can see just how sharp and lovely that text is. It's really nice. And the display, the white background is reasonably white, a little bit bit towards the magenta, maybe just a teeny weeny bit, but good, not overly cold, so pleasant for reading. Page turn speed's fine, and since it's Google Books, we've got a variety of settings for fonts and display and rendering, all that kind of stuff. Now we'll take a look at Kindle. And again, looking nice. And all of our options here for formatting, searching, bookmarking, and everything else are right there. Not as many formatting options as on a Kindle Fire, but enough for most of us. And lastly, we'll take a look at Nook. All of our usual Nook formatting options appear down there briefly. Good speed, cute page turn animations. Also, just really sharp and clear text. Even if we bring it, see, we're almost at the smallest size here. And if we brought it down to the teeniest size, it's still readable. Smaller than most of us would find comfortable probably, but very nice, very sharp, awesome for reading on. Since this is a Google Nexus device, you can be sure all of Google's applications are on board here. One thing that's interesting is the standard Android web browser, gone. Bye-bye, whacked. We've got Chrome as the default browser, which is a fine thing because, well, Chrome is an excellent desktop-style browser. One bad thing, you can see I have Flash here. I had to sideload that. With Jelly Bean, no more support for Android. That ended with Ice Cream Sandwich, so it's not available on the market. If you want it, you got to sideload it. And Chrome does not use Adobe Flash, so that won't do you any good inside of Chrome. You have to download a third-party browser. Firefox isn't yet compatible with Jelly Bean, so we downloaded Dolphin HD, and it turns out the latest version of Dolphin HD available on the Android market removes Flash support because it's officially not supported on Jelly Bean. So we sideloaded the older version of Dolphin HD 8.5.1, which still had Flash support, and we'll show you what that looks like. But one thing that I noticed, you can start up a Flash video just fine, but God forbid you should pause it because it just stutters and doesn't want to resume. So it's not really working well here, and that's something that might be important to you folks. There's still a lot of Flash video on the web. The world has not really moved away to completely HTML5 video yet, so if Flash is important for you right now, I mean, officially it's not supported here. You have to go through some side loading just to get it on here. And the performance so far is just not ideal. We've got our usual Google people. We've got full calendar on here, play books, play music, play videos, you name it. Everything that Google makes is here. Google Wallet's on board. And you get a $10 credit, by the way, when you sign up for Google Wallet. So you can go and get your first couple of lattes for free on Google. We've installed Swiftkey, as you can see here, because the default Android keyboard just ain't all that for a lot of folks, and we'll bring that up and show it to you. Basic stuff, there it is, your letters. If you want to get numbers, you actually have to tap the little number button, no press and hold to get double assigned keys. Likewise, for a lot of punctuation, you might have to hit stuff. So you can, of course, download things like Swiftkey, like I said. And you can switch over here to get your more obscure punctuation. One nice thing about this, though, is all the languages. If you tap the settings button here, you can choose input languages and then just some basic settings like whether or not you hear sounds when you tap on keys. So if we uncheck use system language, then we can choose any of these. Now you can see it more clearly. We've got Georgian, we've got Lithuanian, we've got Latvian, of course we have Chinese, we have Polish, we have Turkish, we have Vietnamese, we have Spanish. It's all there. So that's a neat feature for those of you who are polyglots. So let's look at the Chrome web browser. We've got a little shortcut here pre-installed that has a bunch of the Google apps put together. And there it is, all nice and desktop-y looking. And you've got options here for speaking, if you don't want to type, bookmarks, incognito, request desktop site. We like that, we're going to go for that. And if you take a look at more settings, autofill, saving passwords, privacy, content settings, bandwidth management, search engine, access to developer tools. So now I'll visit our website. Very, very fast web browser. Scored 1713 on the SunSpider JavaScript test. That's very good. Really nice sharp display, easy to see. No checkerboarding when the page is loading, and I had just emptied the cache before. Fast pinch zooming, but of course no Adobe Flash on this guy. Otherwise, excellent web browser. Now we'll look at Dolphin HD, and yes, the home screen does not rotate. That's why we are looking at this sideways right now. So now we're in Dolphin HD. You know, the funny thing is, again, this is the 8.5.1, the side-loaded version. It's a little bit older than what's available on the market. I actually find that it loads and renders quicker. Go figure. So let's see if we can watch a Flash video. And we've set it to always load Flash. And there's our video. Our usual W player controls down there.
This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at the latest Motorola Android smartphone on AT&T.
It's working pretty well. The voice is slightly out of sync. And you can hear the speaker, which, by the way, is at maximum. This is not a loud-speaker. Now, if I tap that to stop it, and I start it up again, sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. Right now it's behaving nicely.
$99, but I like it. We're going to look at it now.
And a crash on full screen, so don't count on that full screen working. So let's try the YouTube player instead, because obviously that is mobile optimized HTML5, and that's going to work a lot better for us. No problem full screening this, obviously.
This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at one of the hotter Android tablets.
And our lip sync's a little better too.
Asus Transformer Pad Infinity TF700. A lot of parts to that name, but simply put, it is one of two HD tablets on the market, 1920 by.
And now we'll check out Gallery and locally stored video. Now this is a 1080p MPEG trailer, MPEG 4. And clearly, yeah, there's no point to playing that high resolution on this because, well, this is a 720p display, but just to show that you can do it, no problem. And plays it beautifully. Again, lovely screen, really enjoyable for watching movies. Given the small amount of storage on the 8 gig one, you probably won't be storing a whole lot of high quality movies on this guy, but if you get the 16 gig, you can. So now we'll test out a Tegrazone game optimized for Tegra 3, so that means you're going to see things like splashed water on the screen when we play. Test out Shine Runner. And we'll go with Guns and Jugs. And again, we're just about at maximum volume right now, so this is not a loud tablet. Oh, missed it. And there's those water splashing on the screen effects that you get with the Tegra 3 CPU. So, pretty impressive stuff here for a 7-inch tablet, that this can do this so nicely. Especially for one that costs $199 to $249. Definitely good for gaming on the go. For those of you who like voice input, of course, Android has that. You can see here's the little speak button. Moth Orchid. Missed the moth, got the orchid. So we have all sorts of information about orchid here. And you can also get things like definitions and all that kind of stuff. So pretty useful stuff. The tablet has a 4325 milliamp battery. It's a pretty good sized battery for something that weighs only 3/4 pounds. And Google claims that it go for 9 hours when playing video, 10 hours if you're web browsing or e-reading, and 300 hours to standby. So far we're seeing about 9.5 hours in our tests. So, well, they're pretty much spot on. That puts it a little bit ahead of the Kindle for battery life. Believe it or not, a faster CPU is sometimes a more power-frugal CPU, and the Tegra 3 with its low-power companion core could really save some power. For a small guy, it performs pretty well. Quadrant number is 3638. That's a lot slower than the Transformer TF700 Infinity, but again, that is the fastest tablet on the market, and that scored 4915. But still, that's wildly higher than the Amazon Kindle Fire, which scores under 2000. Antutu isn't compatible with Jelly Bean yet, but our GL benchmark test is 64 frames per second for the GL Egypt off-screen test. That's very good. This is pretty much as good as just about any high-powered Tegra 3 10-inch Android tablet on the market, so we got a lot of power inside here. So that's a Nexus 7 made by Asus, marketed by Google. Certainly it's a nice tablet for the price. For $199 to $249, you get the important stuff. You get the latest and greatest operating system. I guarantee you will get timely operating system updates. Very fast CPU, nice and sharp screen. Now the screen, I wouldn't say that it beats the 7.7-inch Super AMOLED displays used on the Toshiba Excite 7.7 and the Galaxy Tab 7.7, but again, you know, we're looking at something that costs a lot less too. It's nice to have a GPS, you've got your Wi-Fi, you've got your Bluetooth, so it's a very capable general purpose tablet for folks who are not looking for something that just does e-reading primarily without a lot of hacking. Does it have every feature of the more expensive tablets? No, it doesn't, but well, hey, it is $199. Do I like it a lot? Most definitely. It's one of the nicest 7-inch tablets on the market. I do like it better than the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 7.0, which has just an okay screen, and yeah, this guy is just much faster also. Should you buy one of these? It depends on what you're looking for in a tablet. Again, especially if you're the more techie kind who likes to tinker with tablet, root, put custom ROMs on, yeah, this guy is for you. If you want the full general purpose features of a tablet, yes. If you're looking for something that has a warm and fuzzy ecosystem like the Kindle Fire does, not so much. If you're looking for a lot of customer support, really friendly stuff like that, again, not so much. Google is not known for their stellar customer support, and probably if you have any problems, they're going to ping pong you back to Asus, who will ping pong you back to Google. It's hard to speak to a human, that kind of thing. So if you're pretty much a techno novice, this might not be the right product for you if you think you're going to need some help and some hand-holding from the folks who make it and sell it. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website for the full review of the Nexus 7, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.